Hey guys, welcome back to the show. For you new guy, girl who just showed up, I want to give you a nice warm welcome to New Stuff TV, the untechnical tech channel. I'm your host, Antoine. Give me them smooth sounds of the Sony XG300 Richardson, because today that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, I want to give you guys kind of a spoiler. I've done several comparison videos on Sony's latest speakers, the XG300, the XC300, and the XC200, with plenty of sound comparisons to the likes of JBL and Soundcore. So there will not be a sound test or sample in this video. I have plenty for you. Go check my playlist. I'll link them or something. So we don't have time for that. Today, we're just going to have a little conversation about this particular speaker because I believe it is the best one Sony has released in their new release of speakers. And prior to or contrary to what people have said in comments and other commentary, I actually think this is a good speaker. I just think you might be looking at it a little bit differently. So let me give you my experience over the last 2 weeks. Now, I'll go ahead and start off by saying comparison is the thief of all joy, because when we talk about comparison, the first thing you want to compare to because of its price, man, how much is this thing? I think it's like $350 or something like that. I could be wrong. I don't know. I did purchase it with my own money, as well as the JBL Extreme 3. I know this is $379. Like, this was no joke. So when I think about these speakers, if I've got, let's say $400 and I want to buy a portable Bluetooth speaker and I want to get the best bang for my buck, I got to figure out what am I going to be using this thing for? Because these are, while they're in the same price bracket, they, probably have the same power output. They're just two totally different speakers for two totally different individuals. And that's why I say thief is a comparison of all joy, because in my opinion, JBL sounds better. The bass is richer, it's deeper, the sound range is better in my opinion. I believe you get more volume out of the JBL. Sonically, it is a better speaker, and that in turn will steal your joy from a speaker like this, which I actually really like. Truth be told, I've never used this speaker in my personal life, okay? That's not a fact. One time during Christmas, I was hanging lights on my house and I decided to bring it out. I brought it out and I hung the lights on my house using the speaker for about maybe 2.5 hours, right? And it sounded great, it served its purpose, and I really enjoyed it. But the only time I ever listen to this thing is when I'm comparing it to something else for you guys. I typically use a Charge 5, or JBL Charge 5, the Clip 4, the Clip 4. I've used the Go 3 in my personal life, and I've almost all the time used the Flip 6 on my bicycle. And I use a handful of Soundcore speakers. Now, when it comes to sound, yeah, I would go with JBL. But when I turned this bad boy on in my house, I just wanted to use it because I just bought it. You know what I'm saying? I just spent almost $400 on this speaker. I was like, man, I got to use this thing a little bit just to feel it. You know what I'm saying? So I did. And I'll be honest with you, man, I really, really enjoy it. And I find myself using it all the time around my house. Now, going back to comparison, I think about the portability of this speaker. It is marked as a portable Bluetooth speaker, and it does a good job of being so because it's not terribly heavy, but the speaker itself is not necessarily palmable for everybody, and it's just not carryable. That's why they put this strap on here. But I'll be honest with you, grabbing this strap is kind of cumbersome. It's not something I just really want to do when I'm carrying it around my house and stuff like that. If I was on the go and I just want to sling it over my shoulder or something like that, cool, I love it that it's there. But I am a firm believer of this retractable handle right here, man. So, and that's what brings me to using it around my house. Every day for the past 2 weeks, I've used this thing in my house. I sit down at my desk in my house, which is my kitchen table, my breakfast table, and I'll put this thing up on the countertop and I'll just kind of drop it on the counter. I'll press the power button and then let it rip, man. And I love the sounds that come out of here because sometimes you just don't want that deep, rich bass. I know that sounds really crazy, but sometimes you just want a nice, warm sound to kind of fill the room, and that's what this provides. I like the warm sound signature that it has. Now, it does have that 3-band EQ, which you can brighten up the sound, because out of the box, with Sony's default, I think it's Sony Clear Audio, I'm not a huge fan of that. I feel like it sounds kind of cloudy. So I go into the personal EQ and I bump up those highs. kick up the mids 1 notch, and then I kick the bass up maybe three notches, but that treble goes all the way up because I like to hear the treble in my music, and I feel like it's just kind of washed out in the default settings. So when it comes to the mega bass, I don't believe there's such a thing when it comes to this speaker. There's no mega bass. It gives you bass, but it ain't mega, that's for sure. But like I said, it gives you a nice, warm, ambient sound. And that's when we get to being in the house using this thing and how I've enjoyed it aesthetically, functionally, and sonically. Sonically, we've already talked about. I carry it from my kitchen to the living room to upstairs. I did a lot of work in my house over the weekend. I cleaned out my AC, the drain deal upstairs in the attic. The speaker was up there with me. I vacuumed out and cleaned out the laundry. What is that thing called? What is that, Wilson? Oh yeah, the exhaust hose where all the lint gets trapped. I took a shop vac and cleaned that whole thing out, cleaned out the dryer. This speaker was right with me when I was moving everything around and doing the work back there. Then I went outside to the AC unit where the fan and stuff is, and I took the cover off that and sprayed it down with water. This speaker was right there with me, and it drizzled on me, so I wasn't worried about it because it's waterproof. But we get into, and that's where the portability comes in, because I didn't have to grab the strap. All I did was click up this handle and I was ready to go. Just grab it. You know, I got my other stuff with me. But then that takes me to aesthetics when I'm talking about listening to it in my house. So I put it on the countertop. It looks at home. It looks like, I don't know, decor that doesn't really call for your attention. I put it on the coffee table when I'm doing stuff around that area. It looks like decor on the coffee table without really calling too much attention to itself. I take it to the bathroom, and this is the crazy part because my bathroom is where the JBL Charge 5 actually lives, but it's been replaced with this one because I carry this one around the house everywhere. I just put this one, it's crazy because I don't even turn on the Charge 5. I put this one in front of it and I'm playing it. Whether it be a podcast, you know, my jams, or, you know, some radio show, even YouTube videos, it's always this speaker when I'm inside the house. I don't really take it anywhere because I'm not that type of person where I just take a speaker with me everywhere. But around the house, this speaker is great because of those things I mentioned. The audio quality of it is great. Once you fine tune it to your EQ liking, they only give you so many options, but you can achieve a really good sound with this thing. But also, as far as like the portability of it, just being able to grab this is freaking genius, man. I mean, it's really the little things that matter to a lot of people. And then, of course, the aesthetics. When I talk about aesthetics, I know a lot of people say, you know, the Soundcore speakers, you know, they're kind of hit or miss sometimes with the aesthetics, but JBL speakers do look great. But this right here, this is too fun for the inside of my house. Even if I had the black one, you still got this JBL tramp stamp just sitting right here. So it just calls out attention and it calls out fun. And then you got the shackles right here and the strap. So this is not something you want to just leave on your coffee table or on a shelf. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I don't know, aesthetically, it looks great. I love it. I love the way it looks, but it's a fun outdoor looking speaker to do stuff with. Whereas this can live in your house on a shelf all day and you just leave it there. And it's got the cool ambient lighting. Like I told you in previous videos, I like the way they've done it. And that whole package right there is what makes me believe that this is a speaker for a different individual. A lot of people they care about sound quality, but it doesn't matter. It's not a deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? Because for $400, when you talk about a JBL speaker, yeah, it's going to be, you know, it's going to sound fantastic and it will sound better than this Sony speaker. But when you bring about that whole package, that's where I say sound quality doesn't matter as much as you might believe, because I do think this is a great speaker. I think it's a great buy. And to spend almost $400 on it, I'll be honest with you, I don't like spending $400 on pretty much anything, right? But if I was gonna spend it on a speaker today, man, this is tough. It depends on what I'm going to be doing with it. If I'm gonna be in my house listening to my speaker all the time, I would probably take this one because of my experience with it. I've really enjoyed this thing. But if I was gonna be out doing stuff, you know, like they show on the little YouTube ads, the skateboarding and all that whatnot, I'm gonna take this one, man. Outdoor stuff at the pool, I'm gonna take the JBL, man. I would definitely take this one. But this right here, the Sony XG300, it's good, man. It's good. I like it. It's a keeper. It is definitely a keeper. And I'm really happy to have it. And I've really enjoyed using it around my house. And after this video, it's going right back to my house and it's going right back to the shelf the countertop, the coffee table, bathroom counter, everywhere else I've taken this thing. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know this speaker got a lot of flack for being a little lackluster when being compared to other speakers. And you know, sometimes, man, comparison is the thief of all joy. You're really missing out on a great experience with this speaker when you start comparing it to everything else out there. It's got great sound quality. It's just not as good as the JBL, you know, Extreme 3. But either way, I'm no expert in this kind of stuff. I just want to share my experience with you guys and let you know that I dig this speaker, man. This handle right here, this new aesthetic. You know, I wish they'd give you more colorways. They only have this light gray and the dark gray or black, they call it. But for my use case scenarios, the Sony XG300 is a good fit. Now, y'all keep being good to each other, and I'll see you when I see you.